It means now that the British government, as part of their plan, their colonial, their imperial plan, they went
Yes.
and take youth, people who are useful to the society. They say, come
Yeah.
to our land
Yeah.
and help us to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Now, these people have grown old, they cannot work anymore. Instead of the
Mm-hmm.
same government that have exploited them, that have milked them to take care of them, now that they cannot work anymore, they are
Mm-hmm.
not deporting them home. How do they even justify that? Why is the Amnesty International not pretending not to hear about it?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
are the human rights organization not aware of this suddenly? Why are they turning a
Absolutely.
blind eye to the criminality of European system? Are they not
Well, then,
aware?
I mean, then you have to then look at those organizations, Amnesty International, human rights, etc., etc. You know what's interesting right now, and what I'm having a lot of conversations with Black people right now is about what's going on in the Ukraine. Yes, Russia invading Ukraine. Now, it's fascinating watching how it's being reported in the TV and the newspapers, because it's the whole vibe is, well, look, these are Europeans being bombed. These are Europeans being attacked. This is wrong. Everybody needs to do something about it. Everybody needs to be concerned. And we're like, okay, that's wrong, but there's bombings going on in Black countries, bombings being done by Europeans. Why shouldn't we care about that just as much? Why isn't that on the agenda? Why isn't that front page news? Britain supplies arms to Saudi Arabia, which has been bombing southern Yemen for years. I mean, it's genocide going on in that part of the world. But I don't hear the British government. I don't see the national newspapers printing that on their front page. So it just shows how the interconnectivity of these institutions. Do you understand? So you've got the ruling elites who control the media. So they make sure that the messages that we receive are messages that they decide. So they shift the focus. Look over here. Look at how Europeans are suffering and being treated badly. But don't look over here and see Africans and other non-European people being treated just as badly, or in some cases worse.
But I think that is even almost that is a crime. I think
Absolutely.
Nelson Mandela, when he was in US, he was interviewed making reference, of course, to Cuba. He said something very interesting to the white, to the Americans, that just because you don't like Cuba doesn't mean I should don't like Cuba. I am not you.
Yeah, exactly.
I
But
think
that,
the European, of course, they find it very easy to do because they have their puppet all across Africa, who they call
absolutely,
their government. And their
absolutely.
government actually they are nothing more than just their representative there. So as far as this setup is concerned, African citizens are not really citizens even in their own country because they are not treated as citizens. Just the way they
Uh-huh.
are treated here, that is the way they are treated also at home. Because the system is still being run like an empire where the real
Yes,
citizens of this world are the European. Every other
yes,
person is a foreigner, whether you are in their land or even in your own land.
yeah,
If this is
yeah.
the case, the enemy of Europe, the enemy of these big metropoles, are the enemy of the African people. But it is
Yes,
wrong. I have
yes.
my own agenda. I am a country. I have my own foreign policy. I know who I'm dealing with. Okay, I deal with you because we are in partnership. It doesn't mean I am working for you.
Yeah,
African government are not working for the European government. It's not supposed to be like that.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there is a war in Ukraine, fine. Is what Russia doing right? Well, I don't say it's right, but don't say I must vote for what you are voting
Exactly,
for. Let me
exactly.
decide according to my interest, according to how it affect my people, according to how it affect my nation. So why are they
Yeah,
forcing it on us?
yeah. Well, it's kind of, because I think controlling opinion is vitally important now, and that's the consequence of internet and social media. You and I, we can put an opinion, upload our opinion on Facebook or what have you, and the whole world can see it instantly. Yeah, that has changed the game. That has definitely changed the game in the last 20 years. So the manipulation and control of media and knowledge and information and opinion that is fed through social media is vitally important to them. Yeah, because there is a certain democracy within the internet that frightens them, because I can put what I want on the internet. You know what I mean? Facebook can ban me and YouTube can ban me, but it will still get through. Do you know what I mean? And I can communicate with a brother in Ghana. I can communicate with a sister in Uganda, with another brother in Atlanta, with a brother in Bahia in Brazil and what have you. See what I'm saying? So it's about controlling. I think, yeah, I can't remember the guy who said it, but it was like, you know, once you train a person, you don't have to put them in prison. You understand? If you can control the way they think, there's I'm sure it's an African American who said about how, you know, you raise a black person to believe that they're a slave, to believe that they are inferior to white people. Yeah. Once you've got that set in their mind, you don't ever have to put them in chains. They will place themselves in a subordinate position because they believe that's their rightful position.
And that is absolutely true.
Yeah,
Look,
and the role of media and the role of government-controlled media, of the wealthy elites who control media, etc., is to keep us in that subordinate position. Now we're speaking as African people, but it's not just us. It's in this country, like the white working class, yeah, the low income or no income white working class. The government hates them just almost as much as they hate us. Do you understand? So it's a tactic and a strategy that's used across many different people. Obviously, my interest as a black man is how it's used against us and how we can combat that.
Thank you very much for that. Of course, we are going to be going into a little bit of history just now, which area you are working in, how it affects us. But just before we move there, I want to show you this image I found very interesting. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you a question relating to that, which is saying that the British is designed to destroy the mind. That is, that's an article.
Yeah. Do you know the brother in the picture? Do you recognize him?
Yeah, please go.
John, Star Wars. He's an actor.
Yeah. So what I'm going to ask you, Danny, is you see, you were born 50 years ago. You give a clear picture. Of course, you even made a very nice analogy talking about your parents who have suffered the same fate, you, and even your son, which means it really hasn't changed. If the British are just pretending that the racism is not part of the system, they are lying. Racism is part of the system. It's what helped them. I tried to define it recently. I don't know if I can give a clear picture of it right now, talking about what happened in Ukraine. That racism is a system that helped the Europeans to commit crime against other people, but because they don't want to feel guilty, they look at it as a way of protecting their own survival. But okay, what of other people? Why do you want me to see it from your point of view? You just slap me. Of course, you are not the one feeling the pain, but have you asked me if I feel the pain? I don't ask you to tell me how it hurts me. I am the one that will tell you how it hurts me. So what I'm saying here is, do you really see the change since when you were born in UK, take London for example, right now? What has changed?
I think that there has been change, and there is change, and the change is occurring on different levels. I think, like again, I work with young people. I work with adults and also young people. And I think the psychology of young people has changed from generation to generation. I think this young generation now, they have a confidence and a self-belief in themselves as young Black people. And they have no fear in saying that. I have no fear in expressing that. They have no fear in challenging the system. And because of that, like I was chatting to a sister just a couple of days ago. She works in university, and she was telling me that last year was the highest number of Black students graduating in universities, particularly in the legal solicitors, barristers, etc., was the highest number ever, the highest percentage ever for Black people in this country. And those, they're coming with an Afrocentric mindset, yeah? So they're not coming to serve the system. They're actually coming to challenge the system. And they have the intelligence and the knowledge of the system to be able to challenge it, yeah? Which wasn't necessarily the case when I was a child, or was the case, but on a much smaller level than I was a child. There are conversations, as I said, the British, they try to squash the conversations, but those conversations are being had. And those conversations are being had in institutions, yeah? The history, like, for example, Britain's history of slavery in the Caribbean, that is being revealed. The reparations movement has been putting pressure on the banks that were involved and other institutions that were involved for them to reveal your records. It's there in paper now. It's written. You can't deny it. Here's the sheet. That's your signature on the bottom. And so, what are you going to do? You need to provide reparations. If that reparations comes in the form of providing educational opportunities for Black folk, then yeah, that's one method. And that. So I think that there has been a change in the mindset. And if you want to change the action, you have to change the mind. So I'm looking forward to as an elder myself, I'm looking forward to see where these young people are going to go, because they are changing the game. They are changing the game. They're getting involved in things that, when I was a young person, there were things that's not for Black people. This activity is for white folk. That's not for, that's me do that? No. This generation, they don't play that. They want it all. And they have the ability to take it all. And I think part of that is the growing realization among many that we have to do it by ourselves, for ourselves. These institutions are not going to do it for us. That we are stronger when we do that. We are stronger when we work for ourselves, by ourselves, for ourselves. And I think that is manifesting itself now in various groups. I'm in Black business groups who are carrying that philosophy. They want to make money, and they want to put that money to use in their community. And they want to make that money by raising up their community.